Welcome to Wine of Thrones. This is not actually wine, but that's what we're calling this now.
This is where we spice up our Game of Thrones episode reviews, and we drink while we do them, because we were both like, we're getting just a little bit bored. So,
you called me out for saying that 5 seconds ago, and now you're using it in our
off
video?
camera, it does not count. And so now, we're bringing a little life to the party.
So this is going to be a review of episodes 4 and 5 because we were slackers and missed last week. So this is a 2 for 1. So let's start with episode 4.
So this episode starts out with Cersei. She's actually paying off her debts to the Iron Bank with all the Tyrell money that they just got. And it's clear that she does not give a crap about anything else going on. She just wants all the kingdoms. And that plays into, I think, one of the later plots that we'll talk about in episode 5. Alright, we also see Bran having a conversation with Littlefinger, where Littlefinger actually gives him the dagger that he was almost murdered with when he was a lot younger. And Bran is still being the three-eyed raven with no emotion. I don't care.
I don't get what his character is doing. It's very lackluster and boring. Like, I get that it serves a purpose, but...
Yeah, I don't know if he is going to have any sort of arc. I feel like he has to have a purpose, but...
Well, for sure.
Right now, he just seems very much like, I am Bran.
Well, because the little clips of people right now are so short because they're fitting so much into each episode, you don't really get a sense of him or his motivations right now. Like, he's just there.
Yeah, he's just existing right now, which he does give his dagger, his Valyrian steel dagger, to Arya, which is the other big part of this episode, I think.
Yeah, so speaking of that, we see Arya arrive to Winterfell, which I thought it was funny that it kind of called back to an earlier season of Game of Thrones, where she, like, ends up talking to guards and, like, trying to convince them to, like, get in somewhere or whatever. I don't remember the exact details, but we're seeing a lot of parallels from past seasons and things that are happening this season, which 75% of the time I'm not catching while we watch the episode, and then the internet points it out, and I'm like, oh, you're totally right.
But it was cool to see Arya come home and actually be in Winterfell again, because I feel like she has had one of the longest journeys around to get back to Winterfell. Because Jon's always been kind of up in the north. Sansa got back sooner. Like, she really went all over the world just to get back to Winterfell. And she seems pretty happy to be back.
I liked her reuniting with Sansa. It was very sister-like, so they're ribbing on each other just from the start. It was good. So then we move back to Dragonstone, and we see Daenerys and Jon go into the Dragon Glass Cave, and we get some major sexual tension going on there, which I am all about, because I ship them so hard.
I'm not all about it.
I like it.
She's his aunt.
It's Game of Thrones.
It's still weird to me. I'm like,
we have brothers and sisters sleeping together.
I'm not okay with that either.
I'm not okay with it either, but it's like par for the course.
Despite the epic battle that comes later, I think my favorite scene of this episode was actually the Arya and Brienne fight, where they were training together, because it was just such a cool moment. I think it was just cool to see Arya stand up to Brienne, who was literally protecting her earlier in the seasons in the show, and she was able to stand toe-to-toe with her and fight, and the fact that Sansa was like looking over like, oh shit, the whole time, it was cool. Alright,
so let's talk about the most epic part of the episode, which was the battle at the very end with Drogon just mowing down everyone. And now, we understand, if you watched our last episode review, we complained about the fact that episode 3 had like potentially 2 really big battles, and they didn't show any of it. It's because they were saving all their CGI budget for this scene, because the CGI was freaking flawless.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
The dragon flying through the air and doing all the things, it was beautiful.
I think for how many battles we've had this season, this is the first, like, true battle scene. I don't count the one with Euron on the boat. That was, like, one boat's worth. Like, this was a full-on epic battle scene. And I loved it. It was awesome.
We had a lot happen within this battle as well. It wasn't just a bunch of people killing and dying the whole time. We had Bronn going to get the dragon-killing weapon, which ended up injuring Drogon, but not fatally. And then Jaime being a freaking idiot.
But was also a really epic shot where he's like right on the horse, scoops up the spear, and is like running straight towards it.
It was so cool.
I thought that Jaime was going to get eaten right there. I thought it was just going to turn in.
Especially with Tyrion watching and him just like, I'm like, he's just going to watch his brother die, and I don't know what's going to happen.
I kind of hope that that's what would have happened.
I know. I kind of don't like that they're pulling punches with deaths right now. I feel like that episode would have been stronger if either Bronn or Jaime had died.
If they had ended it with Drogon just chomping one of them and then hit the black screen, people would have been like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, instead of Jaime falling into the water.
Yeah, they very clearly were like, just kidding, he's safe. In that aspect, I feel like they're starting to get a little Walking Dead-esque, where they were a show that was like, no one is safe, anyone can die.
Or they're just saving up all the deaths.
But all the main characters right now, I feel like, have plot armor on them. It's like, we're not at the climax yet, so you have the armor for the next couple episodes. Now, the couple episodes near the end that we'll get to, which are our next ones, I don't think they'll be safe. I think we're going to have a lot of deaths. On to episode 5.
Which picks up right where we left off with episode 4, and we find out that Bronn and Jaime actually live, and they're fine, and no harm done.
Which, they somehow swam through like a mile of river in a full suit of armor.
This is the theme with this season. Everyone just transports so fast.
The Westerosi teleporter is so strong
Apparently
this season.
It's a thing.
Yeah, it's totally a thing, and I'm okay with it for the plot's sake, but everything is moving a lot faster.
The drastic change, though, from the last couple seasons to this season is just off-putting. It's just like, wait a second, last season or the season before, we had like 3 episodes worth of traveling for certain characters, and now it's like 2 seconds, it's fine.
I actually saw something interesting about this because people were saying that George R.R. Martin was very particular about scheduling out his time frames for characters and their travel time to make sure that all the events in his world were happening actually concurrently. And so that's why you had those long travel times where the characters could grow.
But now that they're off
book, they're doing the TV show thing where they're like, well, why would we show the 3 episodes of them Dragon Ball Z walking when we could just skip all the filler?
Yeah, it's not my favorite. I understand why they're doing it, but I don't know why you wouldn't just make more episodes instead of trying to jam-pack these smaller ones. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say at this point I'm okay with it just because we've learned so much about the characters and experienced them, so I'm okay not having all those small moments because we've had so many, but it does feel different. Right after this battle, we see Daenerys having her darker edge that follows her family around, where she shows up, has all the Lannister army, and basically is like, bend the knee or I'm gonna kill you.
A lot of people think that she's leaning towards crazy and towards her father's demeanor on things with that, but I really like it. Maybe that makes me a soulless, terrible person, but I think that's a really good way to do things.
I don't know if it's like her father as much as
her hunger for power.
Yeah, I feel like she's losing a bit of herself because I felt like in previous seasons she was always fighting for people and would take the path of mercy before, like she would give people a chance. Whereas at this point she's like, everyone's out of chances, you get one. Which, you know, is give or take. You can like it or not. I think it's interesting for her character to see how she moves forward and if she stays that way.
I think she's going to need this attitude for when she finally faces Cersei.
Yeah. I'm wondering, whenever shows do that with a character, though, and make them get a little tinge darker, I start to wonder if they're going to kill them off.
Probably.
So if at some point Daenerys dies, I feel like people would
cry.
Riot, but I'd be
cry.
happy about it. I'd love it if it was
her
good.
and Jon just need to get married or platonically rule together. I'm okay with you.
I don't know if anyone's going to survive this show.
Probably not. And with this interaction, we also lost the Tullys. So Sam's dad and brother are gone, which I have a feeling when Sam finally finds out, he's not going to give an F.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be that bummed.
He's not going to
I think he'll be sad about his bro.
Maybe.
Because his bro was nice to him, but his dad, he's just going to be like, cool, glad I took that sword.
Yeah. So then we move back to Dragonstone again, and Khaleesi has come back with Drogon, and she's landed and is approaching Jon with Drogon and letting Drogon kind of decide how he's going to respond to Jon, and he responds pretty well. He lets him, like, touch his nose.
Well, you even saw something like Drogon's eyes shift, and the fact that it, like, blinked with him.
Yeah, because with reptiles, it's a typically really submissive or trusting thing for them to do that slow blink thing. And so that was a really big sign that it's very trusting of Jon.
I'm wondering if they can sense the Targaryen blood in him.
I 100% think they can, because that previous interaction with Tyrion in the cave with the other 2 dragons, because they didn't smoke him immediately like they had with other people who had come into the cave.
Well, I don't know if Tyrion has Targaryen blood.
I think he does.
That's a fan theory.
I'm on board with that fan
John
theory.
is an official.
Okay,
he is
well, I'm on
Targaryen
board
blood.
with both because there's 3 dragons, there's 3 of them, it's perfect.
And they'll ride dragons
Yeah,
together.
it's gonna be the finale.
That's a little too cute.
No, it's great. I love it.
But I think it's cool to say. I'm waiting for the moment where the dragon fire at some point hits John and he's fine.
He's fine.
Where he's like, ah! And
that's what I thought was going to happen. I thought for some reason she was going to come back with Drogon and like something was going to happen to piss her off if John was going to like confront her about the fact that he didn't think that was a good
or like,
idea
let
or
me
something.
leave. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that she was just going to be like, Dracarys, and then be like, oh, John's fine.
And he's like, what up? That didn't happen at all. But I feel like she definitely noticed that interaction.
Oh, she was paying attention.
And I think it was a big reason
She's
why
the only person that has ever been able to get close to them before.
So I think it's a big reason why she agreed to let him leave. I think that was the moment where she like recognized his kingship. Where it's like, okay, maybe you are more than just some dude.
Maybe.
So right after that, Jorah hopped in the teleporter and he pops up right over by Dragonstone and goes, hello, Daenerys. And so they have a nice reunion.
'Tis the season of reunions.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of them, but it was nice. Because I felt like that arc was a little rushed because he was like, I will find a cure. And she's like, come back to me. But that was like a season ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 seasons. I don't remember, guys. Don't hate us for it. But it wasn't that long ago, and we saw him like 2 episodes ago. He got healed and is suddenly back. But he immediately decides to leave again with Jon because Jon says, I'm leaving. And they're going to go get a White Walker? Or not a White Walker, a White, one of the dead bodies. I guess their plan is they want to show Cersei that the living dead, so then she
they
like
want to
pops on
prove
their
it to
side.
her so that she joins with them for at least a temporary period of time.
But one of the silliest things I've seen though is people have said, oh, here's this White Walker dead body. And she's going to go, Mountain, who is a dead body standing behind me.
That's a good point. I hadn't even thought about
He's
that.
a resurrected dead person.
Mm-hmm.
So I sit there and go, how far is she willing to go? And it's clear that she just wants to wait and bide her time to betray them all. I don't think she recognizes the danger.
Oh, absolutely not. She is way too wrapped up in her own little thing. And she's going a little crazy and just... I think she is digging her own grave right now.
Yeah, especially with telling Jaime that she's pregnant.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yep, surprise.
Okay, so here's my theory. I think that she is not pregnant. I think that she can feel that Jaime is pulling away from her and that she's using this as a tie to bring him back in and to keep him around. And I think that when he finds out about it later, he is going to run her through with a sword.
Well, I think he's going to choke her to death.
Oh, that would work too.
Because there was a little bit of foreshadowing that someone pointed out, is when they were standing on the big world map she painted on the floor, she was standing on the part of Westeros known as the head, or the neck, I think it was the neck, and he was standing on the part of the fingers. So it was like, people were like, is it foreshadowing, like fingers around the neck?
Conspiracy.
And I think I said this to you after we watched the episode where I was like, I think Jaime's going to end up killing Cersei.
Oh, I absolutely think he is too.
And I think that that'll be the good ending to his arc before he dies heroically to a bunch of White Walkers.
So that wraps up episodes 4 and 5. Let us know if you like this whole Wine of Thrones theme thing, because I kind of dig it. Let us know if you want us to do it again, because I think we might.
Yeah, a little bit more of a free-form review, recap, run over, instead of us, I guess, sitting here like, this is what happened.
Here's what
in the
happened
episode.
and how we felt about it.
We're enjoying it a little bit more, so let us know what you guys think.
And let us know what you thought of these 2 episodes. I know that there was a lot of crazy reactions to episode 4, and we just had a really busy week last week and didn't get around to making a video. But hopefully you still enjoyed watching this, even though it was a twofer.
And we have a couple big episodes coming up next because they're actually
Long ones.
longer episodes, and the previews look crazy for it as they all go up to catch that white. So we'll see what
happens. And then
happens.
we're going to have to wait for like, I don't know, a year and a half for the last season. Who knows? We don't have a release date for that yet, do we?
That's true. I'm wondering if they're all going to end up being long episodes for that season. We'll see.
Basically a movie every Sunday.
As always, if you enjoyed this video, click that like button down below. Your support is always appreciated. And subscribe. We have a ton of different content coming to the channel right now. I feel like we put up so many different kinds of videos this week after taking a little bit of a hiatus last week. And if you want to check some of those out, we'll have them right over here in the sidebar. And we'll see you guys next time.